So hello everyone. Today I'm here to talk about something that affects majorly every one of our lives, which is pollution. Now you must be thinking that एक ऐसा video है. He comes and directly starts to the point. But what I feel is pollution is such a major issue nowadays that we shouldn't waste any more of our time and talk about it right away. So let's start the video. Pollution didn't just appear suddenly. It has a long, complicated history that goes back to almost 250 years ago, to the time when the world was changing forever. Before the late 1700s, most of the cities were small, people lived close to the nature, and the air quality was comparatively cleaner. Human activities did cause pollution, but nothing on a global scale. Then came Industrial Revolution, starting in the Great Britons and spreading all across Europe and the US. This was humanity's biggest turning point. Factories replaced by handmade works, coal becomes the primary fuel, and steam engines changed everything from transportation to production. For the first time, massive quantities of coal were burnt every single day, releasing black smoke, soot, and other gases straight into the air. Chimneys became taller, factories became bigger, and cities became more crowded with workers. And this came with serious consequences. Cities like London were covered with permanent smoke. And in 1952, the Great Smog of London became one of the deadliest pollution disasters, causing thousands of deaths in just a few days. People realized how dangerous this pollution can be. As industries expanded globally, the same pattern followed in every developing country. Today, pollution is no longer just thick smoke coming out of chimneys. Now it's invisible gases, microscopic particles, traffic emissions, heat trapped in concrete jungles, and greenhouse gases warming the planet faster than ever before. And this effect is no longer historical. It is happening right now around us.
Delhi NCR is choking under hazardous air. Several key locations in the region have now slipped into the severe category today. Now, Anand Vihar tops the list at an alarming 419 AQI. Wazirpur is in far at about 445. Now, major traffic hubs including ITO, Chandni Chowk, Jahangirpuri, Rohini, as well as Vivek Vihar, they're all reporting AQI levels above 415.
Global CO2 emissions could surge this year by the second highest amount on record. They're expected to rise nearly 5% as the global economy recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic. The International Energy Agency predicts that CO2 emissions will rise to more than 33 billion tonnes. Now, that reverses the decline registered last year as many parts of the world went into lockdown. It's also the largest single increase in over a decade.
These aren't just headlines. These are warnings, real events happening in our world right now, reminding us that the climate change and pollution are no longer distant problems. They have become the daily realities of millions of people. And if we continue the same path, the future is becoming more concerning. Cities will grow hotter, air quality will decline further, and natural carbon sink will struggle to keep up. By 2050, with nearly 70% of the population living in cities, the pollution will be a major problem for the urban life. Now that we understand how pollution has evolved and how it affects us today, let us come to the core problem that we are trying to solve. Cities today still don't have the complete picture of their carbon balance. Most systems only track the carbon emission, like the traffic or industries and the other energy uses. But in reality, emission and sink must be seen together, because only then we can understand whether a city is moving towards carbon neutrality or not. Urban planners, policymakers, and even us citizens are forced to make decisions with fragmented and incomplete data. This creates an inefficient planning, poor carbon policies, and missed opportunities for green development. This is the exact gap that we are trying to solve through our solution. Thus, we present CESA, Carbon Emission and Sink Analyzer, a web-based intelligent platform that brings in NASA Earth Observatory data, AI models, and real-time analytics to help cities understand their complete carbon balance. Instead of showing how much CO2 a region emits, CESA also calculates how much carbon is being absorbed by forests, parks, green rooftops, and some other urban vegetations. For the first time, cities can get a clear answer to a very critical question. Are we emitting more carbon than we absorb? Or are we moving towards carbon neutrality? Now let me brief you about how CESA actually works. So CESA works in three major steps. The stage one is the data collection stage. In this, CESA integrates two types of satellite data. One is your carbon emission data from sources like NASA OCO2 satellite and the global emission inventories. This gives us the CO2 concentration, hotspots, and other emission patterns. Whereas for the carbon sink data, we use Sentinel-2 satellite imagery. This gives us an high-resolution multispectral data, which helps us to identify forests, grasslands, crops, etc. Second stage is your AI processing stage. This is the intelligent layer of our system. A unit, a unit semantic segmentation model analyzes these Sentinel-2 images and it classifies them pixel by pixel into forests, grasslands, water bodies, urban build-up areas, etc. Then we can apply the scientific carbon absorption rates for each vegetation type. This helps us to calculate how much CO2 a region naturally absorbs every year. This third stage is your carbon balance calculation. Now we bring in both the sides and calculate the net carbon balance, which is carbon emission minus carbon absorption. CESA visualizes this using carbon heat maps, vegetation maps, carbon balance scores, and insights plus recommendations. So cities can finally see their full environmental status. Now let's move to the most interesting part of this video, our prototype. This is the homepage of CESA. We wanted to keep it clean, modern, and user-friendly. Here, we have placed a rotating Earth animation to represent the real-time global monitoring. From the navigation bar, you can quickly access the home, about us, the carbon credits, and the login sign-up pages. The goal is simple. Anyone from the urban planners to citizens should be able to use this platform easily. Now let me move you through the website. So basically, here we have put our vision, how CESA basically works, the uniqueness of CESA, the satellites that we have used, the data satellites that we have used, and the navigation bar. Now let's move to the most important part, that is the carbon metrics page. Here you can find the interactive world map where you can search for your location or enter the coordinates. For now, let's test it with the location where we live in, that is Pune. Here, it navigates us to the Pune district and it tells us the carbon metrics of Pune district, where the current carbon emission so far till November is 2.3 million tons of CO2 and the carbon sink is 1.8 million tons of CO2, whereas giving us the net balance and the urban green index. Here, it tells us how CO2 was released or absorbed monthwise from Jan to November and giving us the data matrix and the graphs showing how carbon evolved. The emission source distribution tells us what amount of CO2, what percentage of CO2 was released by different sources such as agriculture, industries, residential, transportation, traffics, energy production, etc. And at the end, it gives us insights and smart recommendations about how you can improve your city and your urban planning. This is what CESA actually does. So, before I end, I just want to leave you with one simple thought. Cities are not just buildings and roads, but they are living systems. And every breath that we take depends on how we protect them. With CESA, we finally bring in emission and absorption together, giving cities the clarity that they've always wanted. If we want a clear, a healthier, and a better future, we must start making smarter decisions today itself. And CESA is one step towards that direction. Now let me introduce to the core members of my team. This is Raj, Manjeet, and Tanishq. And I'm home. Thank you.
Thank you.